If this video is accurate, the greatest burning terror in history will begin on August 22, 2022. We'll discuss why this particular date is significant and what kind of burn rates and trillion-dollar cost we can expect. Let's jump right in. As such, we know that the release date for Horror, a classic block height, is 4095. To top it all off, the delegation of staking power to the currently active validator set should be enabled again. This is also the deadline for many of the other ideas we'll be discussing, such as the 1.2% ban on all transactions, proposal #3, #5, #6, #8, which is a highly crucial ban proposal. Getting new code into the system, updating everything, and then moving forward as a community all depend on the block height, which is why there needs to be a pause in the block height, a block height to be released, and then a new block for this process to be implemented as smoothly and efficiently as possible. One more factor is that until the block height is reached, new validators cannot stake or be delegated to. Only after a certain number of blocks have been produced may new validators be added. The 22nd of August is pivotal because two major proposals will be released on that day: the proposal to re-enable staking search delegation and the proposal to burn 1.2% of all transaction fees from the community pool. We now have concrete evidence that the for-waiter proposal has been implemented and transaction fees are being accumulated in preparation for the burn. Okay, so let's jump straight into that chronology. This re-enable staking/delegation should go live on August 22nd or thereabouts. By the way, all of these amendments have already been approved. It follows that they are prepared for use. We're just waiting for the correct day in the meanwhile to do with the other proposals we have. Of course, this new code and changes that need to be implemented and large changes to the table in the old ecosystem are already happening on the TSTnet, where these many suggestions are being tested. It seems to reason that we must ensure the functionality of the code prior to passing it on and implementing it on the new blockchain. The 3, 5, 6, 8, that massive 1.2% burn is currently being tested by multiple validators in the testnet, which is essentially a separate blockchain allowing you, or a separate system allowing you to test blockchain code specifically for turning a classic with the current parameters to see if your code being implemented will mess up the whole system, mess up the blockchain. So, as far as the 4080 proposal is concerned, it is already happening right now. Thanks to a program that analyzes the present tone's properties, we now have that information. It is clear that the current parameters in terms of community tax-based proposal rewards and bonus incentives are real and enabled and active in a traditional blockchain. This means that half of the transaction fees collected in the community pool are being used to fund burn and encourage donors to replenish the developers' coffers. It was covered in the video once more. Certainly not a significant sum. In terms of the neighborhood pool, you can stay current. Approximately $10 million, or over $600,000, is already in the account. The fire won't be particularly intense. Estimates range from a possible $1 million to $2 million. Approximately the same amount of debris from all previous community burning is accumulated each month. That means our present burn rate will likely increase by a factor of 2. But again, it won't be anything out of the ordinary. Certainly not the trillions we'll need, but a commendable beginning. This has kind of reworked the system by redistributing funds back to developers and the community. However, this plan stands out since it is the first of its kind to be implemented in past. The accumulated burn is currently being amassed, and it is expected to occur on or around the 20th of the next month. A few days ago, this idea was approved and put into effect on the blockchain. Given that it automatically burns once a month, we should expect it to start up again sometime around the same time next month. The monthly dues for the community pool are compounded until there is a single, large payment due. Now, in regards to the other burns and timelines on that date of August 22nd, we should, if everything goes to plan, staking says delegation, and then the 1.2% burn. The staking says delegation is so crucial because it basically allows a blockchain to function. We're a proof of stake blockchain. We need stakers to actually make the chain efficient and usable. However, the 1.2% loss is substantial, and basically what the community is focused on because of some of these numbers is if the current transaction volume and the price that we're at right now, around the 6-term level, were to continue up until August 22nd, which is roughly $52 million in 24 hours. if the crypto market didn't crash, and if the volume didn't die. Route 2. We could burn through nearly $1.4 billion at the price. But because we're currently trading at a lower rate, we just need to burn through about $10 million every day. That works out to roughly 1.75. 2 billion burns each day for 10 million. If we scale this by 5, we get a range of about 8 billion to 10 billion tokens each day based on the current price and transaction volume, but these numbers are quite approximate, possibly as few as 7, depending on the price and transaction volume, but more likely in the 8-10 billion tokens a day range, which would yield monthly totals of anywhere from the 240-300 billion mark. Extrapolating this out over a year, you get somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5 billion tokens, with a possible upper bound of 4 trillion tokens. Of course, as we've already established, this is not a linear model. When we heat up, the effect is exponential. Therefore, the greater the quantity of tokens expended, the greater the quantity of transactions required. Since there will be less of the currency in circulation, the price spike will be rapidly followed by a plateau if trading volume remains constant. If, however, the volume of transactions in the classic rises in tandem with the total price increases, the burn progresses, it is possible that some of the considerably higher price targets and much lower amounts in terms of circulating supply will be achieved. And of course, again, because it's an automatic burn, once that code is then in place, after that's in place, the exchanges, it might take a few days to everything get in place. Maybe max a week for the code to be put in at the block height for all to be checked and make sure it's ready to go. That, and all the transactions should go swimmingly. Some of the exchanges have already stated that the burn will be recorded on the blockchain, and I'm among them. Everything will happen mechanically. You need the exchanges to cooperate only to a limited extent, and after that, we should be able to have that burn going on automatically. The wallet will be burned, and you'll be reminded of it every day. The total number of tokens in circulation and the value of the coin market increased as they were burned in the official burn wallet. Eventually, it could take a few days. It might not happen immediately. The current date isn't always readily apparent unless the coin market cap crew is manually keeping track or has some automatic code put up to track that burn wallet. It's likely to be more of a manual affair. It might take a few days to automate, but if it does, you can count on a lot of attention and a rise in price, and more significantly, a significant reduction in supply. Even if we double the number of transactions every day, it won't be that exciting. However, we have seen that the burns per day can become rather significant if the daily transaction volume rises above the 100 million level, which we have previously reached, and subsequently to the 500 to